Regular listeners to this podcast will know that in most shows, I have a chat with my colleague John Richards. John is probably Britain's best-selling business author with his superb little book, Bluff Your Way in Small Business. Today, we are discussing the characteristics of entrepreneurs and whether or not there is any such thing as a typical entrepreneur. We started off by wondering if we're nasty people. Well, television, films, books, literature, they'd all have us believe that entrepreneurs are nasty people. My experience, some of them are, some of them aren't.
Same as the human race, to be honest. I'm nice anyway, and you're a nice guy. And I think most entrepreneurs are nice. I think we're all lovely people.
Well, I certainly wasn't nice in my previous business.
Well, the truth is that when you're running a business, there are times when you have to be a bit hard, even a bit ruthless. But there are also times when you have to be sensitive to other people, when you have to look at their needs, and certainly when you have to be honest and decent in dealing with them.
I'm not so sure about the ruthlessness. There certainly are a lot of very ruthless businessmen, a lot of very ruthless entrepreneurs out there, but I don't think that that's necessarily has to be a characteristic of entrepreneurs. What I do think you find, and this is where a lot of people perceive entrepreneurs as being nasty, is they have to be decisive and they have to take decisions. And sometimes those decisions are unpopular. And a good entrepreneur will always do what is right for his business over and above what is going to make him popular. Now, if he can do what's right and be popular, great. But when he's faced between that dilemma, am I popular with everybody or do I do what is right for the business? The good entrepreneur goes with what is right. And as a result, people don't like that decision and therefore he gets this ruthless, nasty, mean, money-grabbing label stuck on him.
I think the absolute truth is this, that business is not a popularity contest. If you want to be popular, don't go into business, full stop. There is only one criteria by which businessmen are judged, and that is the bottom line. Does your business make money? Does it expand? Or does it fold? That's the only thing that matters at the end of the day in a business.
Now, a lot of the politically correct world that we live in today would have us believe that there isn't a true entrepreneurial personality type. There aren't a set of characteristics that go up to make an entrepreneur, that anyone can do it. Now, for me, that's absolute rubbish.
Now, I disagree with you on this. I've met entrepreneurs of all types. I've met shy entrepreneurs. I've met outgoing entrepreneurs. I've met entrepreneurs from good homes and bad homes, well-educated and poorly educated. They only have one thing in common, and that is their commitment to their business and the dedication that it takes to actually get it done and to make things work. That's the only thing that really defines an entrepreneur for me.
Well, but you've picked up on one common characteristic.
That's the only one, that's all they have in common.
That you see in everybody. Now, I'd like to widen this out a little bit, think perhaps a bit more laterally. I would put forward that there are a number of characteristics that are common in entrepreneurs. Let's say there are 20 characteristics. I don't know, I haven't counted them. I haven't sat down and done some academic research to study around it. But for the sake of argument, there are 20 characteristics. Now, I don't think you're going to find all 20 in each and every entrepreneur. I think that's unrealistic. We'd all be clones then. Your point that some are shy and some are extrovert, some are hardworking, some are lazy, or whatever it happens to be. I think that out of those 20 characteristics, that good, successful entrepreneurs will probably display about 15. But there isn't an exact set of, it's got to be these 15 and not those 5. That as long as they have 15 out of the pool of 20, so that leaves room for there to be some shy entrepreneurs.
I'm very suspicious of these academic lists, to be honest. They tend to be rather arbitrary. It's very easy to say that, yes, 49% of entrepreneurs are introvert, 51% are extrovert, therefore entrepreneurs should be extrovert. I'm very suspicious of that type of reasoning.
I do think, though, extroversion is a skill set that is necessary for the entrepreneur. I don't think that means that entrepreneurs have to be extrovert. You and I are perhaps both naturally slightly introvert, but to be successful in business, we have had to adopt the characteristics that are common in extroverts. So we perform when we need to perform. We've learnt how to come across as being outgoing.
I think you're talking about learning skills rather than actual natural characteristics. I think there are certain things like numeracy and literacy which you can't afford to be without when running a business. But whether or not those are actual characteristics, well, that's one for the academics.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to be without a basic level of intelligence either. I think this concept that anyone can do it is profoundly irresponsible.
I think it is wrong to suggest, and as many governments are now suggesting, that absolutely anyone can set up a business tomorrow. However, intelligence in the traditional sense is not necessarily intelligence in the commercial sense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you talk about intelligence in the traditional sense, I presume you mean sort of academic grades and academic scores. And of course, the stereotype of the entrepreneur is the high school dropout.
And we've met many of those ourselves, and many people who, if you met them, would not strike you as the most brainy of individuals in general, but nevertheless are extremely successful entrepreneurs.
They may not be brainy in the sense of being bookie people, but they do come across to me as being brainy, as very bright, very sharp, quick-witted.
Well, sometimes quick-witted is not what you need. A certain dogged determination to stick to one idea has made a lot of people very rich.
Do you think, though, that someone who is, shall we say, significantly below average intelligence stands a realistic chance of succeeding as an entrepreneur?
I think it would be much more difficult, let's put it in those terms and no more than that.